Hi guys, don't mind the background. This was the only quiet place I could find on the property today. Between a toddler and man. Anyways, family life. So today is August 11th, 2020, and we've just been hit. Us here in America, like several of our states. I wasn't in any of those states, but like 4 or 5 states got hit by some crazy storm, and it just kind of inspired me, I guess you could say, to pull a couple cards. Not so much about the storm, but about this crazy year 2020's been, and the state of affairs of things. I don't need to get into the politics and the protests and there's just so much to even mention. Like, I don't have to. We all already know. So, I pulled 2 cards. And the first one is Medusa appearance. I'm going to read a little bit of it. Silky locks turn into snakes. Vanity promotes mistakes. Take off the mask with style and grace. Now stare your fears in the face. Protection in place, blessed be. Your pursuit of gratification from pure vanity is an attribute that must be very wearing indeed. An excessive need for admiration coupled with a grandiose self-importance attitude has stripped away your understanding and compassion for others' feelings. Although you may fool others as well as yourself into believing you are the trophy, you are in fact in love with an idealized self-image that you have carefully created. Medusa understands that it is to be beautiful and admired. She also recognizes that the image that you portray masks a wounded self. Time to face up to the truth and reveal the real you. You know who that is, but does anybody else? Are you brave enough to drop the mask that you paint on so perfectly? Medusa warns you not to base your precious life on artificial appearances and the superficial, or you could run the risk of losing your pretty little head. Now, doesn't that sound a lot like us here in America, in the US? Could it be that this storm, this natural disaster, is a manifestation of all of us as a collective and how we treat each other now? There's storms brewing within the collective. It's no wonder nature reflected it, right? Of course, this talks about it in a way like the book talks about it like towards an individual person, but what about America or the world? Just our society today in most places. We try to keep up with the Joneses. We try to keep up with appearance, not just physical beauty, but reputation, and anyone who stands out and dares to be themselves is cast out. But those people, those unruly people that are cast out, are the only ones that see through this facade. The system has it in place to where we police each other. There's governments in the world that they do that for you. But for us here in the West, we police each other. put us back in line. You better get back in line, and you better go to work, and you better want a car, and you better want this house, and you better have your kids doing all these fantastic things, like you better have them in dance. Speaking of kids. And hey, like, if you're one of those people, that's great, you know, and there's nothing wrong with wanting nice things, and there's nothing wrong with being a good person if that's who you genuinely are. So many of us are just we're feeding a system that is running us to the ground. There's this big boot it's just put its foot on the face of society. I mean, it's all manifesting this year, and it's not going to get better. So, from a light deck, I chose a dark deck and a light deck. We have big picture thinking, Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. This is from the Starseed Oracle deck. Now, you don't have to believe in starseeds or Pleiadian aliens to think this might be a good idea, you know. So I'm taking this as the advice, the best course of action for what we have going on here. The Pleiadians are our cosmic cousins. They're here to remind us that it's never too late to learn new things and change the future. You're being called to be a visionary for the planet, to take a breath, shake off what you've been taught about the world, and hold a new vision for humanity. The future will be woven by dream makers like you, by those with enough courage to question the way things have been and envision new possibilities for the planet. So, all those people outcasted and shunned for not fitting in to what they wanted you to be, I'm calling on you right now. Okay? We need you to step up. The world needs more artists, dreamers, inventors, and visionary thinkers. Perhaps you've had an idea recently that you're being called to usher in. If so, this card is your confirmation that it's divinely guided. The Pleiadians support us in this important stage. Okay, this is a stage we're going through. This is a birthing process. We've just gone through the labor pains. Now it's crowning, okay? We're going to be in the crowning stage for a while. They want us to know that the decisions we make today will affect the well-being of our planet and all its species. They're calling on you to be a leader of the future, to hold a clear vision of what's possible, to trust that vision and follow it through with daily action, to dream a new world into being, to hold your mind open and try not to worry about what others think, for it takes great courage to have a new path, to trust a vision before it's reality. Soul inquiry. How are you being called to step up and lead? What new ideas or creations are you being called to pursue? So we need to get out of this, because what has caused this is a slave master dynamic in all of society. The government is our masters, our authorities, our rulers, our priests, our kings, our presidents, our pastors, our scientists. They're the rulers, they're the masters, and we are their slaves, our bosses, our masters, but even they're slaves to someone else. We need to break this. Also, what has caused this is lack mentality, fear-based mentality. Fear is the opposite of love. Every negative emotion is based and stems from fear, which is lack of love. We need to know that there's enough to go around and quit living in lack mentality. I'm getting distracted because there's someone coming. I think I'll make a video on the lack and love and fear mentality later. But anyways, that's the message for today, and I hope it brought some hope, and know that things are never going to be the same, and we need to step up right now and start thinking of how we can steer this in the right direction, because where it's headed now, if we do nothing, is no good. Bye guys.